In the spring of 1900, a violent storm forced a small group of Greek sponge divers to take shelter near the island of Antikythera. When the sea calmed, they dove beneath the waves, searching not for treasure, but for sponges. Yet what they found on the seafloor wasn't ordinary. Tangled in rusted bronze and broken marble statues lay something that shouldn't have existed, a corroded object filled with intricate gears, wheels, and inscriptions. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a lump of metal. Inside it was a level of craftsmanship that would challenge everything we believed about ancient technology. Historians would later call it the Antikythera Mechanism, the world's first known analog computer, built over 2,000 years ago. But here's the question: how could the ancient Greeks, without electricity or modern tools, design something so complex that it could predict solar eclipses, lunar phases, and even the timing of the ancient Olympic Games? How could such a device appear 1,000 years before anything similar would be seen again? The discovery would set off one of the most intriguing scientific investigations in history. A mystery involving archaeologists, astronomers, mathematicians, and computer scientists. It revealed not only the brilliance of ancient engineering but also a forgotten chapter of human genius that almost vanished forever beneath the sea. In this video, we'll travel deep into the mystery of the Antikythera Mechanism, exploring how it worked, who might have built it, and what it tells us about the true limits of ancient knowledge. Was this device a lone masterpiece, or evidence of an advanced scientific tradition lost to time? Stay with us as we uncover the story of an artifact that shouldn't exist, yet somehow does. After the mysterious discovery off the coast of Antikythera, archaeologists quickly realized they were dealing with more than just another shipwreck. The year was 1901, and a team led by Valerios Stais, curator at the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, began cataloging hundreds of recovered artifacts, statues, coins, jewelry, and fragments of bronze. But one particular piece stood out, a compact mass of corroded metal and wood that seemed mechanical. When Stais examined it under sunlight, he noticed something shocking: the faint outline of gears embedded within the corrosion. Gears were unheard of in ancient Greek artifacts. This wasn't a weapon, tool, or decoration. It was technology, advanced, purposeful, and thousands of years ahead of its time. The find came from a Roman-era shipwreck believed to have sunk between 70–60 BCE, likely transporting treasures from the Greek islands to wealthy collectors in Rome. Among the marble statues of gods and heroes, this mysterious mechanism seemed out of place, as if it belonged to another age entirely. Decades passed before technology allowed deeper study. During the 1950s, British physicist Derek de Price began analyzing X-ray images of the fragments, revealing intricate systems of over 30 bronze gears, some as fine and precise as clockwork. It was a staggering realization. The ancient Greeks had built a mechanical computer capable of calculating the movements of celestial bodies, but who could have created such a thing? Some scholars linked it to Hipparchus, the father of trigonometry. Others suggested it came from the school of Archimedes, known for engineering marvels centuries before the mechanism was built. Whoever its creator was, they possessed an understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and craftsmanship unmatched for over a millennium. Fast forward to the 21st century, modern imaging revealed hidden inscriptions describing lunar phases, planetary cycles, and eclipse predictions. What stunned scientists wasn't just its complexity, but its accuracy. It was so precise that it could map solar eclipses years in advance. Today, as we stand in an age of supercomputers and AI, the Antikythera Mechanism reminds us of one timeless truth. Technological brilliance isn't bound by time. It's rediscovered, again and again, by those willing to look deeper. When modern scientists began piecing together the fragments of the Antikythera Mechanism, they weren't just studying an artifact. They were unraveling a lost equation between humanity and the cosmos. Advanced X-ray tomography and 3D modeling conducted by the Antikythera Mechanism Research Project in the 2000s finally exposed the hidden architecture of this ancient device. Inside the fragile bronze casing were more than 37 precision-cut gears, arranged in an extraordinarily compact way, almost like a mechanical universe contained in a shoebox-sized frame. Each gear was meticulously crafted with mathematical intent. The largest gear contained 223 teeth corresponding to the Saros cycle, a known 18-year, 11-day cycle used to predict eclipses. Another gear pair represented the Metonic cycle, tracking 19 solar years equal to 235 lunar months. Through a series of interlocking ratios, this device could replicate the movements of the sun, moon, and possibly even the 5 known planets across the zodiac. Imagine it, a device built over 2,000 years ago that could model the solar system's dance, display lunar phases, and forecast eclipses decades ahead. It wasn't superstition, it was pure science. Advanced astronomical computation encoded in brass and bronze. Historians still marvel at its complexity. The gear precision rivals that of 18th century clockmakers, yet it predates them by nearly 2 millennia. The Greeks didn't have modern tools, lathes, or milling machines, so how did they cut gears so accurately? Some believe they used hand-scribed templates, while others think this was a collaborative masterwork, crafted by a team of astronomers and engineers under state patronage. But perhaps the most stunning revelation came from the inscriptions etched on the inside cover plates, over 2,000 Greek characters describing planetary motions, lunar anomalies, and instructions for use. These weren't random symbols, they were a manual. A guide for users to operate a celestial calculator. Some experts compare the mechanism to an analog computer, while others call it the world's first mechanical model of the universe. Either way, it represents something profound. Proof that ancient knowledge wasn't lost. It was suppressed, forgotten, or scattered after the fall of the classical world. The Antikythera Mechanism challenges the timeline of innovation itself. It whispers of a civilization not just driven by philosophy or art, but by data, logic, and engineering brilliance, one that understood the cosmos not as myth, but as mathematics in motion. What if the Antikythera Mechanism wasn't a one-of-a-kind artifact, but just one survivor of an entire lost era of technology? What if ancient Greek engineers had already reached an industrial-level understanding of mechanics, and the rest of their creations simply vanished beneath the waves of time? Let's imagine for a moment. It's 150 BCE. While much of the world still navigates by stars and intuition, somewhere in the Mediterranean, a Greek craftsman is carefully cutting bronze gears with hand tools so precise they could rival modern clockmakers. He's not working in isolation. He's part of a workshop that understands differential gearing, mathematical cycles, and astronomical prediction. If that's true, then the Antikythera Mechanism isn't a miracle. It's a product of a system we no longer remember. Now think about the implications. For over 2,000 years, historians believed complex gearwork didn't appear until the 14th century with European cathedral clocks. The Antikythera Mechanism shatters that timeline. It forces us to redraw the curve of human technological progress, because if someone in 100 BCE could model the solar system in bronze, what else did they know that we haven't yet rediscovered? Could there have been other devices, more advanced, perhaps mechanical libraries of the stars, tide calculators, or navigational machines, lost in shipwrecks still buried on the Aegean seabed? If even one more mechanism exists, it could completely rewrite how we understand ancient science. And here's the chilling part. History might have reset itself. The fall of the Roman Empire, the burning of the Library of Alexandria, centuries of lost knowledge, all could have erased this lineage of innovation. Humanity may have had an early technological dawn, and then plunged back into darkness. Imagine if the Antikythera's design had survived. If it had inspired other inventors. The Renaissance might have come 1,000 years earlier. The telescope, the printing press, maybe even the computer, all could have arrived centuries before their time. Let's take it further. What if the Antikythera wasn't merely a teaching tool or astronomical gadget, but part of something larger, a coordinated project to map the heavens? The Greeks believed the cosmos was a machine, a grand clock. The Antikythera could have been their way of decoding its gears. In that sense, this computer wasn't just predicting eclipses, it was predicting the will of the gods. And this raises another haunting question. How did this knowledge appear, seemingly out of nowhere, only to vanish again? Some scholars argue that it hints at a forgotten chain of transmission, knowledge handed down through mystery schools or perhaps through foreign influence from Egypt or Babylon. Others take it further, suggesting ancient visitors or lost civilizations might have shared these secrets. We don't need to leap to aliens to feel the awe here. Just the thought that a single machine could carry the DNA of a forgotten science is staggering enough, and the consequences stretch into our present. Today, Researchers use AI and tomography to rebuild the Antikythera, but in doing so, they may also be resurrecting the mindset of its makers. By re-engineering their thought process, we're tracing back to a time when humans saw no boundary between art, science, and spirituality. If we can truly decode how they thought, it could transform not just archaeology, but how we teach creativity and invention itself. So the real what if isn't about what the Greeks built. It's about what we lost, and what we might rediscover if we dare to look deeper. For decades, the Antikythera Mechanism was a riddle trapped in rust, a masterpiece of technology buried under centuries of corrosion. But today, scientists are finally decoding its secrets, using the very tools that its ancient creators could only dream of: X-ray tomography, artificial intelligence, and 3D modeling. Step by step, layer by layer, the mechanism has been virtually peeled open, revealing over 30 intricate bronze gears, hundreds of interlocking teeth, and inscriptions that map not just the movements of the sun and moon, but also planetary orbits, an eclipse, cycle d'Auserbier. At the heart of these efforts stands the Antikythera Research Project, a collaboration of physicists, historians, and mechanical engineers from around the world. Using CT scanning, they discovered hidden Greek inscriptions that functioned like an ancient user manual, instructions for tracking celestial phenomena over decades. It was as if the device itself was teaching us how to read the heavens. The reconstruction, led by researchers at University College London, created a working 3D model that confirmed something astonishing. The mechanism didn't just predict eclipses, it also tracked the positions of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, planets visible to the naked eye, using a complex system of gears that perfectly mirrored their irregular motions. In short, it was a mechanical cosmos, centuries ahead of its time. But as answers appear, new theories emerge, some conventional, others controversial. One theory suggests that the Antikythera was designed by followers of Hipparchus, the Greek astronomer who first quantified the precession of the equinoxes. His work on lunar and solar cycles perfectly aligns with the device's calculations. Another theory links it to the School of Rhodes, where Archimedes and later engineers were rumored to have built mechanical spheres that modeled planetary motion. If the mechanism came from Rhodes, it could represent the lost culmination of Hellenistic scientific achievement, a golden age of engineering we barely understand. Then there's the question of its craftsmanship. How could ancient artisans cut gears with such precision, using only hand tools? Some argue that it points to a sophisticated guild system where knowledge was passed down among elite craftsmen, perhaps those who built complex automata for temples. Others believe that the technology could have originated from cross-cultural exchange, as Greek thinkers absorbed ideas from Egypt, Babylon, and even India. This theory paints the mechanism not as a Greek anomaly, but as the peak of a vast, interconnected world of ancient science, a shared human heritage of curiosity and invention. Modern scientists, however, see something deeper. To them, the Antikythera Mechanism isn't just a relic of ancient genius. It's a mirror reflecting our own evolution. The same curiosity that drove its creation drives modern technology today. When researchers run AI models to simulate its missing gears, they're not only reconstructing history, they're reviving a lost mindset, one that saw art, science, mathematics, and spirituality as one unified pursuit. Some futurists even draw parallels between the Antikythera and our digital age. Back then, humans built mechanical computers to predict the movement of celestial bodies. Today, we build quantum computers to predict everything from weather patterns to market behavior. The cycle continues, the tools evolve, but the goal remains the same: to understand and control the patterns of the universe. And yet, the deeper scientists dig, the more they realize how incomplete the story remains. We've found only fragments of the original device. What if it was part of a larger collection? What if it had companion machines, navigational instruments, timekeepers, or teaching devices that simply haven't been found yet? Every dive to the Antikythera wreck uncovers new clues: bronze coins, pottery, and now, whispers of other encrusted metallic fragments that might belong to a second mechanism. If confirmed, it would mean the ancient world didn't just build one, they built many. So, where does this leave us? The Antikythera mechanism is no longer just an artifact. It's a bridge, linking the mechanical imagination of the ancient world with the technological vision of today. Through it, we see how fragile progress can be, how easily knowledge can vanish, and how miraculous it is that we've recovered even a glimpse of this lost brilliance. It challenges every assumption about human history and forces us to ask, what else have we forgotten? As we reach the end of this journey, one thing becomes clear. The Antikythera mechanism is not just a machine, it's a message carved into bronze over 2,000 years ago, whispering to us across time, "You've been here before." Humanity's thirst for knowledge, our drive to understand the universe, our obsession with precision, none of it is new. Long before the first computers blinked to life, ancient hands had already built a mechanical cosmos. It's almost haunting when you think about it. The mechanism was discovered by accident, resting silently in the depths of the Aegean for over 20 centuries, while empires rose and fell above it. During that time, we forgot how to make it. The knowledge, the craftsmanship, the mathematical brilliance, all vanished into dust. How could something so advanced exist and then simply disappear? That's the question that keeps scientists, historians, and dreamers awake at night. Some say the mechanism's rediscovery is a warning, a reminder of how fragile progress really is. Knowledge, no matter how revolutionary, can vanish if not protected and passed on. Just as the Antikythera mechanism was swallowed by the sea, our own technologies could be lost to time if civilization ever falters. Others see it as a symbol of hope, proof that human curiosity always finds a way back to the light no matter how many centuries it takes. There's also a philosophical beauty in how the mechanism mirrors our own age. In the ancient world, it modeled the cosmos, showing people their place within a divine, mechanical universe. Today, our technology models everything from galaxies to genomes. But perhaps the real lesson of Antikythera isn't how to build a machine, it's how to see ourselves as part of one. A living, breathing mechanism powered by imagination, not electricity. Modern engineers marvel at the precision of its gears, but there's something even more mysterious at work. Intention. Someone, somewhere in ancient Greece, looked up at the stars and thought, "What if I could turn this into a machine?" That thought alone changed the course of human history. It was an act of creation, of rebellion against the unknown, and that same spark exists in us today. Every time we build, explore, or try to understand the impossible. So where do we go from here? The Antikythera mechanism has opened a door, not just into the past, but into our own potential. It challenges us to rediscover what we've lost, to imagine what else might still be hidden beneath the waves, in ruins, or in forgotten libraries. How many other masterpieces of ancient science are waiting to be found? What other pieces of our shared story are still out there, locked away by time? Perhaps one day, another diver, guided by chance or fate, will reach into the deep and pull out something even more extraordinary. Another whisper from the past, another reminder that human brilliance has no timeline. But until then, the Antikythera mechanism stands alone, a bridge between what was and what could be. So as we close this story, take a moment to reflect. The next great discovery might not come from a lab, or a billionaire's rocket, or a supercomputer. It might come from curiosity, the same simple force that drove an ancient craftsman to shape the universe out of bronze. If that thought moves you, then let this story live on. Share it. Talk about it. Keep the question alive. What else have we forgotten? Because history isn't just what we find, it's what we choose to remember. And maybe, just maybe, that's the greatest mechanism of all.